Good evening, Talkin Sticks fam. This is your host, Croomy. I'm here back for another episode of Talkin Sticks. Today I have the pleasure of having Thomas Kent, the CEO and chairman of Kent Global LLC, and he's going to get more into that. But welcome back. And Thomas, welcome. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. Thank you so much.
So, Thomas, even before we get into about your history, your business, your companies, what are we drinking and what are we smoking on tonight?
Well, what we're drinking, we're going to smoke on some peninsulas, which is great sticks.
Okay.
Great sticks, Dominican great sticks. You're going to get the full body. This is the medium right here. This is one of my favorite smokes. Lasts about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
So you wake up in the morning, smoke one of those, your mind get clear and things of that nature. And on top of that, we can have one of my favorite rums in the world, Diplomatico.
Oh,
right?
Diplomatico. Okay, that's a good smooth rum.
Yes, Venezuelan rum is the reserve. Nice, goes down nice. You have to be careful though.
It catch up to you.
Catch up with you real fast. But yeah, we open this and have a little sip of this right here. And
so as you crack it open, while you're doing that, think of something you want to toast to, because I always ask all my interviewees to come up with a toast.
Gotcha.
Think about that. So this is my first time having, how you say it again? Palencia.
Yes.
And I have the Alma de Fuego. That's the one that I'll be smoking on today. And which one would you be smoking on?
Same brand, but it'd be a mild and 146.
All right. So I'm going to go with I'm going to use my Elevate Bar Company 4-in-1 today. We have our Elevate Bar Company ashtray, silicone ashtray, unbreakable, lightweight. You take it wherever you want to go. And like I said before, every interview that I'm doing in person, every interview I do virtually, this is going to be my go-to ashtray. So I'm going to use the Elevate 4-in-1 today, which has 2 punches on both sides, big and small. It has a pick. I'm going to use this for the first time. And
it has a pick too, huh?
And it has a pick. And it has a pusher in case you're having a tough time drawing. Straight through. I'll pour my own poison.
Right here. Yeah, I love Diplomatico. It's one of the best.
Oh, yes, it is. It is. It goes so good whenever you could get able to get their cigars. They're hard to come by, but
absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with my punch.
I'm gonna take a clip because mine's a different shape than yours. A torpedo.
Okay.
And this is a ritual every day. You clip it, smoke it.
Oh yes.
It's a ritual. It's one of the best things in life, in my opinion.
Oh, cigars are such a. I love the cigar culture. It's so relaxing. It's beautiful. It's good. I can't ask for better. Oh, you do the pleasures. You light up first. How was your day so far today?
Long, hectic day. A lot of construction in the building today.
Okay.
We're trying to get it up and operational for the podcast and things of that nature. So
Yes. So please save that, because we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that right there.
Absolutely. So cigars, people, you got to light it nicely.
Evenly, nice and all around. Well, for Talkin Sticks family, let me let you know, I met Thomas at the Harlem Cigar Room. I was conducting an interview there with Ghost Flamingo Tristan, and I introduced myself to Thomas and all the other patrons there at the cigar room as courtesy of what I was doing, just to let them know. And me and Thomas connected, and he said to reach out to him the following day, and you do what you got to do. And I reached out to him and we spoke, and he told me about his businesses, which we're going to get into, and he's locked in a date. So I am so thankful that for you, for being on the show, for locking in the date, and just making this happen.
I appreciate being on the show. Anytime I have young African American entrepreneurs that's doing the right thing, I'm willing to help. Hopefully I can give my knowledge and give you some of your knowledge, and we'll go together. That's what it's all about.
And that's what I always say. Like, I always say this is we have to help each other out. Absolutely. And you're in the game, you're doing it. All I could sit back is take the gems that you're dropping.
Right.
And everyone that I interview is like, it's just gems after gems, and hopefully it's blessing the people that's watching the show and taking the gems and taking the notes to encourage them to keep pushing and moving forward.
Absolutely.
So, since we're all lit up, what are we toasting to?
Health, wealth, and prosperity.
Health, wealth, and prosperity. That's smooth and good right there. And it's
got a little bit of peppery taste to it in the beginning.
Yes. But I love peppers. But it's not too harsh and too bold at first. It's a nice smooth pull.
Right.
And it's not light, but it's not bold. It's just right. It helps you get right into the cigar and to be able to sit back and enjoy.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna get straight into this because I know everyone watching want to know. So, what is Kent Global LLC?
Well, Kent Global LLC is a financial consultancy company. And we have clients all over the world. We do everything from mergers and acquisitions, to LBOs, to real estate finance, to film finance, to instrument finance like BGs and SBLCs, that stand by letter of credits and bankers guarantees. Bankers guarantees. So we do a gambit of different things, and we're expanding. Just recently, I made some strategic joint venture relationships with several other M&A firms, and also other private equity firms, and that makes my lending capacity or my investment capacity go even bigger. So,
even greater.
Yes. Yes.
So, I don't got no pen and pad, but I'm gonna take down all these notes right here because you're already dropping some knowledge. So, as I always try to do, I want everyone to know who the company that we're talking to, but I also like to have that everyone gets to know the person, the woman, the man behind the company.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about who Thomas Kent Jr. is.
Well, Thomas J. Kent Jr. is the son of Thomas J. Kent Sr.
Okay.
My father was resided in the Elder Navy Church. He was a civil rights leader.
Okay.
Helped found a local branch of the NAACP. Was in politics,
Nice.
Small businessman. So that's somewhat of the pedigree I come from. My education, I went to a small historically black college in Ohio called Wilberforce University.
Okay. Shout them out.
And I spent time in the UK. I have a diploma in management from the University of Leicester. MBA from the University of Liverpool. So
Nice.
I've been around a little bit.
Okay, so you some vast knowledge broadly,
Right.
but deep knowledge.
A global perspective.
Global perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
Born and raised in New York, or?
No, I've been between Ohio and Georgia. I spent a lot of my life between Georgia and Ohio.
Okay.
Over the last 20 years, it's been New York City. Reason moving is because of Wall Street.
Yes.
But my second homes, I spent a lot of time in London and I spent a lot of time in LA. So besides New York, I would say London's probably second and then LA's third.
Okay, so we have London, New York, LA,
Right.
Georgia, Ohio.
Right.
I think I just said 5, right? 5.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, what's the best place you like?
In the world?
Yes.
New York City.
New York?
If when you come from Georgia or you come from the Midwest, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's your dream to come to the big city, right? And,
Wow.
and New York has everything. When I mean everything. Any type of food you want, any type of music you want, any type of clothing you want, it has. So for me, coming to New York was coming to the big time, right? And this without a doubt, this is the greatest city on earth, right?
Okay.
So New York's the place to be.
I can't lie. New York is the greatest city on earth. From my previous career, I've done seen and did some awesome things here in New York. Even now,
Right.
from the cigar lounges that I'm going to, or certain events and people that I'm meeting,
Right.
still one of the greatest. But I'm tired of New York.
But you're a native New Yorker, though.
I'm a native New Yorker.
Native New Yorker.
When I hear Georgia, Ohio, More Georgia. I'm like,
No, when people think of Atlanta, Atlanta is an up and coming city, right? It's a popular city, especially among African Americans. But it's no New York, right?
Okay.
I mean, Ohio's great. Ohio has Columbus, it has Cleveland, it has Cincinnati, right? But it's not New York. I mean, New York City is New York City.
that's true.
It's the pace. Like, I can understand some guys want to wind down a little bit and have a slower pace of life.
That's me.
Eventually, that gets old.
Well, I don't want to say the slower pace. I just want the wind down, and I want my money to, my house.
I understand.
My house, my room, my car garage, and I could
Definitely, if you go to a city that say like Columbus, let's say here in Staten Island right now, in Staten Island, a typical home will go for 4, 5, 600,000, 700,000. That's a small home. 4, 5, 600,000 in Atlanta, you get something real nice. In Columbus, Ohio, you're going to get something very nice, right?
You see?
Dayton, Ohio, you can get something very, very, very nice. So, yeah, I guess if you look at it from that standpoint, your dollar does go longer, in the Midwest or in the South than New York. But New York is where it's at, though. I mean, it's just I don't know, something about New York that I just can't get enough of.
Okay. Well,
and it's only one other city I think can even come close to New York.
And what city is that?
That's London.
London.
Because London's a lot like New York, but it's not New York.
Break it down. We have some time. Break it down. Explain for those like me who haven't been. You see the movies.
The similarities are London and New York are both financial hubs.
Okay.
And for what I do, that's good.
Yes.
Also culturally, the culture of London and New York is cosmopolitan. I mean, in New York you have Africans, all types of Africans,
yes,
Nigerians, Ghana, all types of Asians here in New York, from Korean to Chinese or whatever. So you have a diversity of people, Indians, Pakistanians, just the same thing in London.
Okay.
So that's where they're similar. Now, what makes them different is I think London's a little more compressed. And what I mean by that, they have the government and the financial hub put together, right? So it kind of messes up things a little bit.
Okay.
New York is the financial hub, and then you got DC. Right?
Yes.
So all of the political crap goes to DC, right? Nothing really comes to New York. New York's where all the money's been ran from, right?
Yes.
So those are the two major differences, and that's probably the major difference why I like New York more over London.
Okay.
Both of them have the same fast-paced, 24-hour type of scenarios. You can go in a nightclub and you can stay till 7 in the morning, right?
Wow.
You can wake up in the morning in London in certain neighborhoods. You can go to a dine at 3 in the morning, just like you can in New York. I mean, so they're so similar, but that one fact that I just said about the government. The government is in London. It kind of messes up everything because now it gets too bureaucratic, right?
Okay.
So that's the difference that separates, in my opinion, London and New York, and that's why I love New York more than London. Right.
Got you. One more question about that is, being that you have the United States, you have the UK, you have that experience, you go back and forth.
Right.
What did you take from the United States to UK, and what did you take from the UK and brought back to the United States that helped you and your company and your business and helped you personally?
Well, the British is frugal.
Okay.
The British, if you know the history of the English in particular, right?
Okay.
They were some of the biggest, people would say colonialists, but conquerors of land and people and everything else. So they're shrewd. I mean, when it comes down to business, anything, they're true.
Cutthroat, that's
cutthroat, it. And you learn from that. I'm not saying I'm cutthroat, but what I'm saying is you learn what they do, right? So you can look out for those traits.
Got you.
Right? And don't get me wrong, New York's a cutthroat town too, right? Don't get me wrong, New York's very cutthroat. But, there's a little bit more compassion, I think, with New Yorkers in business than there are with guys in the UK.
Okay. Well, learning experience.
Wow.
Learning experience. So, how long has Kent Global LLC been around?
Well, we've been around since 2011.
Okay.
This is our 10th year right here.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And, We've been growing, started slowly but surely. Like I said, we just built out a lot of relationships with different private equity firms now. We building out our merger and acquisitions division. We JV with a lot of real estate developers all over the world.
Okay.
We're trying to grow. We're building out.
Yes.
And hopefully the next 10 years, we're going to be bigger and better.
Okay.
Than we are now. So, but we are going to be bigger and better.
So, you got 10 years in, 10th anniversary. You made it through 2020.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration? I mean, are you from a financial background with your family? I know you say your father was into politics. What was the inspiration for Kent Global LLC?
Well, I always wanted to be my own man in finance.
Okay.
Right? You work for firms, you learn the system, you learn how things work. But I always have been an entrepreneur, right?
Okay.
And, I wanted to start Kent Global, not just to make a lot of money, right?
Everyone wants to make money.
Make a lot of money. But also, make money, but also get into the civic aspect of everything. Because as you make money in the investment banking field, you can help out a lot of people with your foundations or whatever like that, and charity.
Understand.
So that was one of the major driving forces behind me setting up Kent Global LLC, to become my own man, number one, which everybody really wants to do, and help humanity out the best I can.
Okay.
I can't save everybody in the world.
Not true. I can't save everyone.
I'm gonna take a book from my father. He said, if you help one person, that one person help another person, help another person, then change can come.
That very much true.
So that's pretty much.
Are you the first person in your family into finance? I mean, or was most of your your family, as you said, you're from the South, into civil rights or into other things?
Well, the civil. My father was a preacher.
Yeah. Well, God bless him and thank you.
My sister's a preacher now. A lot of PhDs in my family. A lot of PhDs in education and things of that nature.
Nice.
A lot of politician type people in my family.
Nice.
A lot of religious leaders and educators and things of that nature. One of my little nephews now, he just became a pharmacist. Other one's getting his PhD. I mean, so yeah, we have that background. But I'm really the first hardcore guy that came to New York and really like
took it off and made it happen.
Came to Wall Street, and I'm pioneering this right here.
That's good to hear. I mean, so, how was that? Was you nervous at first to do it, or?
I never was nervous. One thing about this life right here is, you have to take chances. If you don't take chances, you'll never know, right?
Very, very much true.
And you're gonna fail. God knows you're gonna fail. But with every failure, right, you learn something, right? And success comes from failure. So I never ever am afraid to take any chances, as long as they're logical.
Yes, it got to make sense.
Yeah, they have to make sense. But I'm never afraid of taking chances. And if I fail, I just fail. I evaluate, what happened. I brush myself off and get back on the horse and try again.
Wow. That's good to hear. I mean, because some people in the entrepreneurial journey,
right?
Small business journey. If you're trying to become a small business or a big business, however you want to put quotations around small and big, you're a business.
Right.
You're an entrepreneur. You're starting from the ground,
right, trying
to make your way up.
Right.
And some people get so discouraged in that first couple of stages.
Right, the first 2 years. They call it the 2-year burnout. And most entrepreneurs, after they really realize what it takes to really run a business, gets discouraged, right?
Yes.
But you have to have the staying power. You have to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to ride it out. Nothing in life is achieved easy. I mean, you could let's look at the trust fund kids, right? Kids that were born into $100 trillion, right?
Yes. Talk about that.
They have so many problems, right? And the reason for that is they never really had to work for anything. And when there's nothing to work for, nothing to get you up in the morning, nothing to motivate you,
nothing to appreciate.
You don't appreciate it. Right? You don't appreciate it, right? You appreciate getting up in the morning, working hard, grinding. You accomplished this. Okay, I accomplished this today, right? And next morning, get up. Okay, I accomplished this.
Now, was you a 9-to-5er working for a company or a firm or a corporation?
Wall Street is never 9 to 5. When you're doing any type of investment banking, whether it's doing venture capital or mergers and acts or anything, you know, your day can start at 6 in the morning, and sometimes it only at 9 at night.
Wow.
So you know, you're gonna build your book of business. You're gonna earn that book of business that you built. So it's just like being on Wall Street is just like running your own business, right? So when you work for a firm, whether it's a small firm, boutique firm, or a white shoe firm like a Goldman Sachs, whether you're in mergers and acquisitions, or whether you're on the retail side as a stockbroker,
okay,
you put in the hours and you build your book of business. Now, the big firms, all firms keep the money. Like, say, for example, you bring in XYZ amount of business, you split 50-50 with the firm.
Okay.
The reason why people want to leave the firm and start your own thing is because you want 100% of what you work for. Because you put in most of the work. You put in all the work. All you're doing is using their name, right?
Okay.
So, you know, once you figure out that, and you figure out I'm going to work just as hard doing this myself than working for them, you know? And it may take a little time to build a name brand, but once the name brand built, you're good. So, you know, but, you know, there is no such thing as, you know.
No, 9 to 5.
There's no such thing.
I'm going to sleep at this time. I'm waking up at this time. No, I'm checking
Saturday morning, you may have to go. When I was in my 20s, like sometimes Saturday mornings I had to go. Like, you know, we had a senior broker. He was like, come in at 8 o'clock in the morning. We had to come 8 to 1, right?
Wow.
It is what it is.
Self-sacrifice, though.
Self-sacrifice.
To get to where you want to be.
To get where you want to go. But once you learn the knowledge and you learn the business, it's yours. It's here. Nobody can take this.
No one could take. You see that, and that is a very important thing that not like so many people sometimes want to just say, I'm going to just do it myself.
Right.
But there's certain keys, there's certain methods, there's certain techniques that you kind of actually may have to go work for someone.
Right, to learn the game.
To learn the game, learn the ins and outs, learn what works.
Right, and what doesn't.
Doesn't work. Because I also feel like each field has its own unwritten rules.
Right.
Like
unwritten rules of engagement that you have to.
Yeah, like
right.
This is not acceptable
in this world.
Right, in this world. Right. You may want to do it, but it's only going to get you but so far.
Right. Exactly. And Wall Street definitely has its own written rules of conduct, right?
Okay.
So, you know, it's certain things that you have to learn. Like we have our own vocabulary, like piker, right? When you say piker, that means small fish.
Okay.
You only got a piker. That's like one of the greatest insults ever, right? So, you know, it's once you learn it, it becomes second nature. You know, and you know, when I have a son, I don't have any kids yet, but when I have my kids, when I have my son, I want him to get in this business, you know.
Okay.
This is the business I truly believe in my heart that will sustain generational wealth. And the reason I say that is when you're in this field, you learn about everything, right? You learn about film financing. You learn about real estate financing. All the aspects of real estate. You learn about the oil and gas industry. And I sit on boards of oil and gas companies, right? I've been on advisory boards of different companies, right? So when you're on the advisory boards of different companies and things of that nature, you learn about what they do. And you learn how they make money, right? And, you know, I think more African Americans should really focus on two aspects to really take us to the next level, and that's finance.
Yes.
And I think we really need to focus on medicine. And the reason I say medicine is because, you know, we really need more doctors, and we really need guys in the finance industry to really develop the neighborhoods like they need to be developed.
So I'm going to say this. Talkin Sticks family, you're watching this interview. You're seeing it right here. Let's introduce our youth. I mean, you know, I know cigar smoking is, they say, is a certain age range.
Right.
But if you have kids, you have cousins, you have nephews, let's open their minds up to these two industries right here. Let's open their minds up to something else so we could build, as everyone say we want right now, as you see through COVID and social media right now. A lot of things is generational wealth. We have our inspirational, motivational speakers, but let's put it out there to them. Let them sit down, let them hear what Mr. Thomas Kent has to say, and what he's breaking out and breaking down to us, dropping these gems, because it could be the start of something for your family. It could be a start of something for them, right. for a family member who wants to do something different versus the regular, everyday what we're exposed to.
Right.
I want to get off topic real quick.
Right.
So being in finance, how did you get into cigars? Was it because of finance or was it before?
Well, my father used to smoke a pipe and cigarettes, right? And you know, I never got into cigarettes, but the first person that really introduced me to cigars was a professor at Wilberforce University, and his name was Dr. Abasiji, right? Okay. A Nigerian professor, PhD professor at Wilberforce University, and he kind of turned me on to cigar, gave me a cigar, smoked a cigar, and
do you remember that cigar?
I remember the cigar.
What cigar was that?
It was Romeo and Juliet.
Oh,
Romeo. Very, Romeo and Juliet is just, Monte Cristo and Romeo and Juliet are the staple of cigars.
Romeo and Juliet is a very good starter cigar.
That's a very good starter, and Macanudo is too. So,
yes.
I started with that, and then my palate grew.
Okay.
So I've been smoking now. I'll be 45 October the 8th. That's it. I've been smoking now since.
So a couple of days. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. I started smoking probably at 19.
Okay.
So I've been smoking cigars a long time.
I started smoking at 25. So I've been in smoking for about 10 years. I'm 35 now.
Right.
So since we got your history, we talked about you, we talked about how you got into cigar smoking, and shout out to that professor. Thank you for getting him in, because now
I thank you as well. Listen, I smoke, and I talk to my mother all the time. Every time I talk to her, she's like, "You got a cigar? You need to stop smoking all them cigars."
Yes.
I smoke at least 4 or 5 cigars a day. But this is like the only thing that really I get relaxed when I smoke cigars. Like we met in the Harlem Cigar Room. That's one of my favorite hangout spots. Okay. I hang out all over the city. I go all over the city, but Harlem Cigar Room, Felix,
yes.
I love that atmosphere, right?
No, it's a very, very chill, very comfortable, very welcoming atmosphere. Right. I mean, shout out to Odin also, who he makes you feel at home when you walk in there. Absolutely. And he's a wealth of knowledge. You could sit there and ask him. You could tell him what you like to drink, and he's going to give you either a house blend or another cigar that's going to pair perfectly. He's going to give you the proper cut for the cigar. Right. He's going to give you the proper light for the cigar. Shout out to Odin, because
Odin's my great friend, and Odin's from a cigar family in DR. I mean, yes. They like cigar royalty over there. So, I love Odin, and him and Felix. I want to do business with them in the cigar industry.
Yes.
And we that's for a later conversation. But I'm looking.
You're putting it out there
and doing something in that space as well. COVID kind of slowed everything down, but I was moving towards that direction as well. But as soon as this COVID thing dies down a little bit, I'm looking into that as well.
No, just one more question off topic. 'Cause I know we talk. I kind of want to know, because I feel as if cigars is an icebreaker for a lot of things. So, has cigars, and you being an enthusiast and you enjoying it, has it been an icebreaker in the finance world for you?
I mean, everybody's. Absolutely. One thing about cigars, right? And I know everybody says it, but this is true. No, it doesn't matter who you are. When you're in the cigar bar, and you lighting up a cigar, and a sports game is on, right? Or whatever's on. You drink, you're having a drink. You're smoking your cigar, and you relax, and you're talking.
Yes.
So it's a great equalizer, right? And I met some good friends, and good friends, made some good business deals and everything else in the cigar lounges. You don't go looking for that, but
it happens.
It happens, right?
It makes certain things more natural.
Right. It's like a fraternity almost, right?
Very much.
You got the people that hate smoke, cigar smoke. Because I'm gonna tell a little story. I was near Central Park. I wasn't in Central Park, but I was near Central Park, right? And I walked there a lot, right?
Okay.
But I smoked a Skokie. I was smoking a Skokie, and this lady passed. I hate you killing us with the cigar. You killing us with the smoke. And I'm outside. I'm not even in the park, right? I'm outside, right?
Yes.
So either you have people that extremely hate cigars and the smoking, or you got guys that really embrace it, right?
Yes.
And the guys that really embrace it are like a fraternity.
Yes. So something I've spoken to my last interview at the cigar room. Ghost Flamingo Tristan, he's a model.
Right.
And what I'm working on. We're here talking. You told me your story. What I'm working on is my sister-in-law. She's in fashion, nothing to wear. That's how I met Tristan from Harlem Fashion Week.
Right.
That about 3 weeks ago that happened in Harlem.
Right.
They did a fashion show at Adam Clean Powder right outside.
Right. On the windows of the world, or you said outside?
Outside.
Okay.
And what I realized is that I've seen some of these fashion designers. Their clothing was just awesome, from streetwear to suits and dresses, and I'm like, wow, like the fashion world kind of really doesn't know about the cigar world.
Really don't.
But what I'm expressing to certain designers now, and I have some getting on board, is that if you're making suits, you're making dresses, you're making certain things, even regular streetwear. But I try to focus more on right now, like the suits and the dresses, is that you don't know how many cigar enthusiasts love to dress up.
Dressing suit and ties, or
it's not just maybe just an event thing. It's an everyday thing for them.
Right.
And
absolutely.
It's like I'm trying to work on that, exposing it. So I'm really working on trying to get a fashion designer on the show to sit down and do an interview, so their clothing line could get exposed to a whole nother world.
Right, of course, absolutely.
Because I feel like it goes hand in hand. Because I always say when there are certain cigar events, you want to look dapper, you want to look elegant.
Absolutely.
You want for the women, they want to look elegant. They got to show out, and the men, you either have a whole full nice suit or a nice blazer,
right.
a nice pair of pants, a nice shirt,
right.
Maybe a tie, a bow tie. It's different. So if you're a designer and you're watching this, or one, DM me, or I'll DM you, and we'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
But let's get back to you. Let's get back to Kent Global LLC. We're in a very special building right now.
Right.
And tell us what's special about this building.
What's special about the building is it's in Port Richmond, Staten Island. My partners and I. One of my partners is a big African American real estate developer.
Okay.
Here in Staten Island, he's a native Staten Islander.
Okay.
And we're doing some very unique things with this building. You see, I gave you the tour. We have the studio here that we are building out. We have in the studio one of our engineers.
Yes.
And co-producers or producers is Bang Out, and that's his name, Bang Out. But he did a lot of work with 50 Cent.
Okay.
So he's a platinum producing artist, right?
Okay.
So it's not like this is some small time guy. This is a big time guy, right? And we're going to create a green room over there where we do all type of podcasting and things of that nature. We're going to do some financial podcasting or any type of podcasting.
Yes.
We're doing a lot of stuff with ETFs. That's like with Bitcoin and paintings and stuff like that. So we're moving heavily in Bitcoin and ETFs as well. So it's a lot of things that we're doing. I love this space. I love working with my partners, and we're going to make this thing big here on Staten Island.
Okay. So you brought up the podcast. you kind of brought up a little bit, but I'm gonna ask you the full inspiration. Like, is something like this a studio with a green room? Was always a dream of yours, or was it presented to you?
We're not.
So, Kent, Mr. Kent, we was just talking about your podcast. You was telling us about the building.
Right.
What was the big inspiration about you doing this building, using this building right here?
Well, one of my colleagues, Mr. Alan Najon, which I know for 20 years, he's in the entertainment field, right?
Okay.
So he presented this opportunity to me, and he brought me here, and we wanted to build this thing out and make it one of the crown jewels of Staten Island. So, that he was really my inspiration.
Okay. So we got music here.
Right.
We're going to have a podcast here.
Right.
What's going to be some of the things you speak about on the podcast? Besides, you talked about it a little bit. Can you get a little bit more in depth?
Well, we're gonna do a lot of stuff with Bitcoin and ETF, right? We got a lot of things going on with that. Of course, I'm gonna do my own financial thing. We're gonna talk about different financials, what financial stuff is going on in the day's world or whatever like that. And like I said, Mr. Nazon, he's gonna put the rest of the content together. And we always looking for new content to present out there to people. So, that's pretty much what we're going to do. Wow.
Well, as I'm going to say, like, this building is just awesome. It has art. It's in the heart of Staten Island,
right,
where some people may disagree, but I'm going to say it's the heart of Staten Island because it is in the music industry area of Staten Island.
Right.
It's in where people, the artists, they come here, they express themselves, they make their music, they do their art, and this is like the heart of where that famous Wu-Tang symbol comes from.
Right. Staten Island, Staten Island has its own culture. Harlem has its own culture. Brooklyn has its own culture. And definitely Staten Island has its own hip hop culture. Without a doubt. So again, I'm just happy, to be involved in it.
All right. That's good to hear, and I know it's going to bring forth when it's fully done, that the fruition is there, and it's up and it's running. It's going to bless and encourage and educate so many people and give so many people opportunities. So I'm going to say, if you're your engineer, your artist and stuff like that, if you're watching the show and you're doing something, you're making a name for yourself out there, this is going to be a man. He's going to guide you where if you could present yourself good enough, you never know, you could be out here and your first hit could come out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the major driving forces of us really doing that. We want to create more talent, local talent, and get them national.
Yes.
That's one of the things we want to do.
And you could even speak on here for your first podcast.
Right. Absolutely.
And take you to the next level.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I know you touched on it a little bit, about your goals and stuff, and I know I'm at the Talkin Sticks question of the hour. So what I'm asking you is, what is coming in the near future with Kent Global LLC, if you can speak about it?
Right.
Who may be one of your first special guests on the podcast, if you can speak about it, and maybe what may be the first artist to do a video here, if you can speak about it.
Right, I understand. Well, I'm under a lot of non-disclosures right now, but I can say this, right? We want to have big time guys in the ETF space to come on in the podcast and things of that nature. Like I previously mentioned before, we have Bang Out. He's a platinum producing artist. He has, he's going to bring people here.
Yes.
My other partner, Mr. Nazon, he has, a lot of. I can tell you his brothers Chapo. He played in what was that series name on HBO? I think it was not Sex and Violence. It slips from my mind right now, but his name is Chop. He played. He's an actor.
Okay.
So he's involved in this as well. So we're going to have a lot of talent, but also we're going to be looking out for those startup guys that want to get a name out there as well.
Nice. what about for Kent Global? I know you said you want offices in Beijing, you want offices all over.
Right.
Is there like is there officially, like, to start soon to come, a second office coming?
Well, yeah. I mean, we pretty much closed the deal in London already, right?
Okay.
But the COVID has basically just slowed everything down. Definitely, we're going to be out in the next 24 to 36 months. We're definitely going to be out in Los Angeles because I'm involved with a few media properties that we're going to have to be out there. I mean,
Yes.
LA is like the hub of entertainment,
It is.
So LA, and London, yes. That's in like the near future.
So London's 100%.
That's 1,000%.
Okay, that's solidified.
And that's solidified. And LA in the next, let's say, 24 to 36 months, we'll have presence out there as well.
Okay.
I'm talking to some bankers right now. We're trying to finalize some stuff. They're going to run that division of Kent Global LLC.
Okay. I mean, I know we spoke about a lot. I just had another question that just came to mind, if you don't mind me asking.
Go right ahead.
Is for individuals that are in school for banking right now,
Right.
and it just came to mind. But does Kent Global LLC offer them a new beginner the opportunity to get their feet wet, or you just really want experienced people?
Well, yeah, experienced people and inexperienced people. That question would be yes and no, right? Because we're building out strategically right now, but still we need back office support where somebody may come in and be an intern, a paid intern.
Yes.
We'll teach you the craft, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then see if you like the banking business or not. A lot of people that get into the banking business really, it's a love-hate relationship, right? Either you love it, and you have to love it, right? Because if you don't love it, the time that you have to put in really to build something,
Yes.
to build it, you have to put in a lot of time. So you have to love this. But we definitely give people the opportunity to see if they love it or not.
Got you. Well, Thomas, we went in depth on a lot of things. I learned a lot just sitting down here talking with you, and I truly appreciate you being open to me to sit down on Talkin Sticks and give me the opportunity to interview you and help get Kent Global LLC even more publication and promotion, so individuals can learn about you. And I just want to say thank you.
I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Talkin Sticks family, once again, this is Mr. Thomas Kent Jr. from Kent Global LLC, and he's already established, and there's so much more coming that is going to blow your mind. So like the video, watch the video, share the video. And Thomas, before we go, where can they find you at on the internet?
Well, they can go to www.kentgloballlc.net, and that's my website, and they would have all of the different social media feeds like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook on the website.
So please go to
KentGlobalLLC.net.
Please go to KentGlobalLLC.net and follow. If you're interested, please tell him that you watched the video, Talkin Sticks, and be guided from there. And if there's nothing else, me and Thomas, we go to finish sitting down here, enjoying our cigars, enjoying our diplomatical room, and we just go to chop it up some more. So as I always say in closing, peace, love, and God bless. Until the next episode.
Peace to everybody.